This takes a minute or two to get set up.
Michael, during the session, should we also ask them right there that if there is something that they would like for us to improve during the live session?
Repeat that again.
Yeah. So I'm saying that during the live session, should we also ask them if there is something that they would like for us to improve moving forward?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get started. We should be broadcasting live. For those of you who are just joining us or may watch the replay of this, this is our Virtual Speech Masters Club. Just a few people have stayed behind to answer some questions about how this has been going for them. We've been doing this for more than a year now, right? About a good year and a half. It'll be 2 years at the end of this year, I think. And so we have some of our members and guests here. If you have questions, please feel free to post those on YouTube, and we'll try to get to those now. Farooq, do you have access to that, the YouTube live session? Let me send you the link.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll paste the link here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start with Shaq. So Shaq, you've been a member for how long?
Hi, Michael. I've been a member now for, I think, since the beginning, since the inception of the group. I was a member. At the time, I was one of your coaching clients. So just a bit of background about myself. I came across Pro 90D around 2 years, well, around this time 2 years ago, and then I just needed a bit more support after a few months. So I reached out to Michael and I started working one to one. And then eventually, when the group went live, I was one of the first members.
Exactly. Now tell us briefly, just briefly, a little bit about some of your successes that you experienced within that first year. Some things happen with a presentation and then a promotion or something like that. So tell us briefly about it.
So at the time, the reason I reached out to Michael is because I had to present to the senior leadership at my company, and presentations have always been something that I've struggled with in the past. So I reached out to Michael to start working one-on-one, and that was a few weeks before the presentation. He helped me with the structure. He emphasized that I need to slow down my speech, and a few weeks later, I presented and it went really well. And off the back of that presentation, I actually got promotion at work, and that came with a 50% increase in my pay at the time. So
Wow.
life-changing.
So one of the things that we want to emphasize is that, this is a real investment in yourself, both personally, because you're going to feel better, you're going to feel more confident, you're going to be less stressed because you're not going to have that additional stress because of your speech. We all have stressors in life, but that many of you, I mean, dare I say most, but I'll say many of you will experience an increase or return on your financial investments. It's 50% increase. Whatever that comes out to, he more than paid for whatever he paid for coaching. And he's getting that back every month, every year. And because he has this new confidence and ability to speak well, that's going to increase, right? So he's going to get another promotion or another job or something like that. So it doesn't just stay where it's at. It's just going to keep improving. So that's just one example, but guess what? We have another example. Jade, so tell us a little bit about your background and a recent success that you've had, and then we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more specifically about the Virtual Speech Masters and some of the specific benefits. And if any of you other guys, Olubenga, or Koya, or
Yes.
Ola, if you guys have anything to add, because I think this was your first experience here today. But if you have anything to add, you can add that in just a little bit. Jade, all right, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all well. First and foremost, I'm Jade, and I'm coming up on almost a year. It will be a year in March of joining the actual club. and attending these weekly calls. I've also taken, one-on-one coaching with Michael a few times now over the last few years, and I got to say, man, it's been transformative in terms of the impact it's had on me. One of the most recent successes I've had is that I recently moved into more of a sales role. I am a software engineer by training, and in July of 2023, I founded my own software company. And so we make trading software, and we have to, and as part of my job, I have to often meet with a lot of my clients and have these sales calls. And so not only do you have to speak well, you have to be persuasive. And I can't tell you the impact the coaching and the weekly opportunities to practice have had on me as a founder, as an entrepreneur, as a friend, as a leader of my family, and so on. But more specifically, in the larger context of sales, I've been closing sales left and right. And I have to tell you, our software is not cheap. It's about $1,000 per year, and you have to join in these calls, and you have to essentially talk to these clients and pitch them on your software, and you have to convince a stranger essentially to offer you $1,000, right? And so just week over week, having an opportunity to improve my communication skills has bled into my sales as well. And just in the last month, we closed 5 new sales, 5 clients. And again, our software, our tool is not, $20. It isn't cheap at all. And so this just proves that the more you show up and use the tools as far as the coaching or joining the speech club, you have a lot of opportunities to just improve, and it usually bleeds over and into other parts of my life. And so I'm just super, super excited to keep improving month over month, and I can't wait to see how we close out 2025 in terms of sales for the year here. It's a very exciting time.
Wow. Awesome. So now, this question is for everyone and anyone. Let's just talk about some of the specific, and I know that you guys have mentioned this already, so anyone who wants to answer this, what are some of the specific benefits you've gotten from the Virtual Speech Masters Club? Just give me a couple, 1, 2, 3 specific benefits you've received by attending the Virtual Speech Masters Club. I'll just open that up to any of you.
I could speak.
Okay. All right, Ola.
That's fine. Thank you. So I joined, I think, in January this year. So I haven't been here for long. But since January up to now, I feel like I've I've become more confident going to anywhere. I'm not really scared of going to a coffee shop or maybe going to an event where I have to kind of meet people and talk to them. I feel more comfortable knowing that at least I can see at least for like 2 minutes speaking without having any blockers. So I think that's one thing that has helped me. I feel more confident. Even now, for example, like for example, I had to post my interview or my job application because I was not feeling good enough to kind of do interviews. But right now, I've done about 3 interviews in the past 1 month. I feel more confident doing them, even though they're not going as smooth as I would have wished. But I feel like my mental space, mental brain is still. I feel good going to an interview now than before. So I feel like I can speak more clearly, speak more confidently. Yeah.
So one of the things that we see happens is and Farooq and I have seen this, and you guys have seen this, when you come to the Speech Masters Club, initially it's kind of shock and it's intense, and you probably don't do as well as you would like to do, maybe that first meeting or two. But then after that, you start to desensitize yourself to the higher pressure, higher stakes environment. and you start being able to focus on how you want to say what you want to say, right? You're able to actually do that, to implement that. And so, just as Ola said, one of the first things that happens is an increase in your confidence. You just start feeling more confident about your ability to speak well and to handle different speaking situations. And when that happens, you actually start speaking more. And when you start speaking more, then, and if you're trying to implement what you're learning, then you start to grow, you start to transform your speech, because you can learn a lot, you can practice in private environments by yourself and do well. But when you get out there and actually talk to people, that's when people say things go out the window. Well, what the Virtual Speech Masters Club does is helps keep it in the window. It keeps it inside the room so that you can actually speak and say what you want the way you want it. Farooq, did you have anything to add or any questions that you wanted to ask him?
Yeah, I can still remember 1.5 years ago, we were on a call, and you said that I always ask my clients to join some sort of a Toastmasters. So why don't we have our own Toastmasters? And I think that was the time where we started it, and it has been 1.5 years ago. Shaq, I think, was one of the first members. Jade joined soon after. And when we started, the club was small, obviously, five, six people, six, seven. Now it has turned to more and more people. And a great advantage that we can ask to the members right here as well is that you get to practice every single thing. Now, in most of the clubs out there, sometimes they just focus on presentations. We also focus on that a lot, but we are also trying to focus on the interviews part, the one on one conversations, group conversations, phone conversations. So essentially, you're getting a chance to practice everything that you would face out there in the real world. So you learn from the system, you implement it inside the club, you take the successes, you take the confidence from those situations and into the actual situations when you go out there in the real world. So that is, of course, one huge, huge advantage. So Jade, Shaq, Ola, whoever wants to answer, what what theme is specifically, like we have various themes, we have impromptu presentations, improvised presentations, on the spot presentations, sometimes debates, interviews. What are some of the themes that you have liked the most so far, and that has been the most efficient for you in taking the successes out from the club and then implementing it out there in the world? Anybody?
Yeah, I'm happy to go. I
Yeah.
think for me personally, I would say the improvised presentations, because you asked a question and you need to think about the answer on the spot. I think this is the a skill that most of us will need to translate into real life, into our jobs. We don't always have the time to prepare our answers. So I think being put on the spot and having to think on your feet is important. And at the same time, making sure that you're using your actual speaking style, you're slowing down, you're breathing, and so on and so forth. So I think that's the main theme that's helped me personally.
What would you like to see us do more of or do that we're not doing? Any themes or ideas that you'd like to see us implement?
It's difficult because I think we made an effort to bring in different themes over the last year and a half, and I think it has worked pretty well. It's group interviews, conversations, phone calls we had at one point, I think.
Mhm.
So in terms of in the group itself, I don't think there's anything that I would like to see introduced. I think we are moving in the right direction. I think maybe more structured engagement outside of the calls. So in the WhatsApp, I know Jade is very active. Me myself, I haven't been very active on the WhatsApp group, to be honest. But I think maybe a more structured approach to the WhatsApp where we have to sort of post on a weekly basis, or maybe try to pair people up together to have maybe accountability partners. I think that's something that can maybe help us outside of the calls.
Very good. Yeah, we did actually just implement the WhatsApp group fairly recently, I think, right? So that was something that we did, and I absolutely agree with you that we could have a more structured approach there. But it's good to see the energy already thank those of you who are participating, especially Jade. So yeah, that's going very well. Thank you for that suggestion. Jade, did you want to answer Farooq's question?
I mean, I agree mostly with Shaq. I think for me, the most effective theme so far is just having to speak on the spot. I think one of the main challenges as you learn to improve, how you speak and you want to improve your fluency is having to come up with a structure and then maintain a smooth flow on the spot. And so I think I probably enjoy that the most. In terms of the WhatsApp group, I also agree that, I try to chime in if I can at least once or twice a week to create, an opportunity to help folks, share and to, increase the overall participation in the group. I've seen it improve tremendously. And I think that if folks join the weekly calls and the expectation is that the weekly calls alone will help them make 180 change, I think you have to do a little more work. And so I always try to encourage folks to be a little more active if you can in those WhatsApp conversations. Share a little clip if you can of yourself and use as many opportunities as you can to practice as we are taught as part of the overall Pro 90D system is that every time you open up your mouth is an opportunity to practice. And so for me, if I have a thought in my mind, I want to just immediately throw it in the group and create some conversation around that. So I think more activity in the group could also help. And I think that in terms of the weekly calls, we just need to continue to play around with these themes over and over again. As Shaq already said, we have quite a few as it is, and we do a pretty good job of changing it up. But I'm not sure what else we can, add. Maybe a new approach or a potential challenge in the future is having a VSMC speech contest where the winner receives, I don't know, like a free month or something like this, right? And the whole entire mission is to prepare for, let's say, 1 or 2 weeks to take part in this competition. And the goal is to, of course, showcase the best speech and to actually win. So I think that's one of the ways in which we can increase the pressure, make it a little more challenging, but also, make it fun and still maintain the overall family style that we have so far as well. Just an idea.
So just to mention, Jade is someone who has been winning like almost every meeting for the last few months. So it would be free membership for him for the entire life.
And
So
that's why he said it. Like, I want to get me a free
yeah.
membership. Yeah, go ahead.
And so during the club, like I was just mentioning, and some of the folks were just mentioning inside the meeting that we just had, is that you don't just get a chance to speak when you have to present, you get a chance to speak so many times. So people have to introduce themselves as well. People have to give themselves feedback as well. People have to give others feedback as well. So you get a lot of chance to speak right there. So it's presentations, interviews, and stuff, plus the feedback that you're providing. So you get feedback from the members, you get feedback from us, and you actually get to meet with us every single week. So it's every single week. Plus, like Jade and Shaq said, in between the meetings, the WhatsApp group is a wonderful opportunity to keep posting your presentations, some stuff that you have to say, voice notes and videos. And this is something that members have started to do more. So overall, it's a great opportunity during the meeting, also in between the meeting. And before every theme, Michael and myself, sometimes we like to do a short training as well. It can be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, it can be on a specific theme, it can be on something specific that we have inside the system, sending, blending, slowing down, modeling, articulating, finishing, whatever it is. So there's a lot going on as a whole.
Yeah, very good. All right, so I have one more question, and any of you can answer, and then we'll wrap up as promised. And that question is, what would you say to someone who's considering either working with us privately or the Virtual Speech Masters Club? What would you say to them? And before you answer, I just want to let you guys know that, yes, we do have women in the club. They just didn't stay over. So you see all guys here, but yeah, we do have women, and we have people and professionals from all over the world, literally all over the world. So just wanted to let you know that I think we have at least 2 people from the UK, 2 or 3 people here from the UK. Right? Yeah, okay, great. So the question is, what would you tell someone who's considering either working with us privately, which some of you have done, and the Virtual Speech Masters Club? And they're like, is it worth it? I don't know if I should do it. What would you tell them?
I can go first.
Okay.
Okay. So what would I tell someone that privately? I don't know because I haven't worked with you privately yet, so maybe someone speak on that. No. For the Speech Masters Club, I think no, I think I found your content through somebody that I met at the local Toastmasters in London. He told me to check you out on YouTube. I think that was October, and I watched the video for about 3 months, and I got a lot of content. So I was seeing improvements in myself. So generally, I actually just start the year by joining the club. So I feel like you can try with the content on YouTube. I feel like they have a lot of useful things that I could pick up and try and just test them. And if you see like some little improvement, you can start with the virtual Toastmasters Club, and I promise you that at least you see some changes like in your confidence. You feel like you can speak anyway now than before. That's what I know from my experience. That I feel like last year, I was scared to go out. Right now, I can go out anywhere. I feel more confident going out for a coffee or anything. I don't have that fear of going out anymore. So I'm sure that is something that you experience because that's what I've experienced in the past 1 month of joining.
Thank you, Ola. All right. Jade, Shaq, one thing that you might share with people who are considering either one or both.
So I agree with Ola 100%. I think joining the group has been one of, if not the smartest choice I've ever made. In terms of the impact it has on other areas of my life, it bleeds over into my conversations, it bleeds over into the relationships, it bleeds over into my job, it bleeds over into my sales results. And so if you can find it to just make this choice, I think it has a transformative impact on your life. I think you have the opportunity to practice in a safe enough place where you have room to mess up, you have room to, of course, learn, and you have room to receive genuinely helpful feedback. And I think over time, week after week, you see the results in how you think, how you feel, how you move, and it bleeds over into almost every other aspect. And so for me, it was a no-brainer. And so if I had a friend who's kind of like, I'm not sure, Jay, this is going to be for me or not, I would highly encourage you. It's extremely affordable, first off. And I think the return is so fantastic that it should be a no-brainer to anyone who's, on the fence or still unsure. It's an excellent, excellent way to practice and to sharpen the skill of how you speak and how you communicate, right? So I would say you have to go for it.
Thank you, Jade. All right, Shaq, and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, I just want to say I think it's very it's easy for someone that's on the outside looking in to look at someone like myself or Jade and think, okay, well, they don't have a speech problem. But I can assure you, I've had a speech problem for most of my life. Most of my life. I've struggled, I mean, just having one-on-one conversations with people for most of my life. And the fact that I can now present to 20, 30 people at my job, I wouldn't say without feeling nervous, I still do, but I'm able to actually speak. In the past, it would have been something that I just can't do. So that alone is testament to the work that you guys are doing. And to be honest, I probably shouldn't say this, but the price that you guys are charging probably should be a lot higher, just for the impact that you're having on people's lives. And so if anyone is sort of in two minds, honestly, you have nothing to lose. You have nothing to lose. It's definitely worth the investment if you want to improve your relationships, your career prospects, just the way that you think and feel about your speech. I think it's definitely worth it. And it's a no-brainer.
Thanks. All right, Farooq, anything else before we wrap up here?
Yeah, so probably we can increase the price, and whoever comes first, they get it for free. So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I think we would be doing more of these sessions. As we move on, we would have more people from the club join and share with you guys the advantages that they have been experiencing from the club. So yeah, we would try to do them, like Michael, you said, once a month, or at least once or twice a month, so that the people can see the advantages and see the people and what they're experiencing inside the club and the coaching as well. So I think this would be a great way to do that.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Koya, if you have any additional questions, I know you asked me a question. If you have additional questions, I'm just going to read your response after we come off live. Please get in touch with me. On YouTube, we'll also post a link for our Virtual Speech Masters Club as well as our coaching. But thank you guys for spending the time after Virtual Speech Masters Club today to join us. So we'll see you all next time.
All right. See everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's see here. All right. Let's see.